our objectives, unchanged, on target, and on plan. Destroy missiles, launchers, and Iran's defense industrial base so they cannot rebuild. Destroy their navy, and Iran never gets a nuclear weapon. Objectives from day one.
The operation to secure the Strait of Hormuz had reached its most critical stage. This was the final push, a coordinated ground assault designed to bring complete control over one of the world's most vital waterways. The plan was bold and precise. Airborne forces would descend directly into contested territory from the sky, while Marine units launched a powerful assault from the sea. Two forces, moving from opposite directions, would meet in the middle and eliminate the last remaining resistance. Everything depended on timing, coordination, and speed. At the staging areas, airborne troops began their final preparations. Every soldier moved with purpose. Gear was carefully organized: extra uniforms, medical kits, food rations, hydration supplies, and ammunition. Nothing was left to chance. Weapons were disassembled, cleaned, and reassembled with precision. Each magazine was loaded carefully. Grenades were checked. Night vision systems were tested to ensure functionality in low visibility conditions. Parachutes were prepared with extreme attention to detail. Main chutes secured tightly to their backs, reserve chutes positioned at the front. Every strap, every line, every connection was inspected multiple times. Commanders walked through the rows, checking equipment and speaking briefly with their troops. This was not a training exercise. This was a real combat drop. Leaders gathered to review satellite imagery and terrain maps, identifying landing zones, rally points, and possible enemy defensive positions. Routes were discussed. Contingencies were planned. The mood was focused, serious, but confident. Meanwhile, out at sea, another force prepared for impact. Aboard amphibious assault ships like the Tripoli, Marine units were gearing up for a direct strike on the coastline. Inside the ships, controlled intensity filled every corridor. Marines loaded into amphibious combat vehicles and hovercraft, securing their weapons and equipment. Body armor was tightened, radios checked, and final instructions given. Vehicle crews ran diagnostics on engines, weapon systems, and communications gear. Everything had to function perfectly the moment they hit the shore. On the flight deck, helicopter crews performed their pre-flight checks, preparing to deliver additional waves of troops deeper inland. The mission for the Marines was clear: hit the beaches with force, push inland without delay, and establish contact with airborne units descending from above. Both forces were now set. The operation began. Heavy transport aircraft carrying airborne troops lifted into the sky and turned toward the target zone. Inside the aircraft, soldiers sat shoulder to shoulder, surrounded by the constant roar of engines. There was no unnecessary movement, no distractions, only focus. Final instructions echoed through the cabin. Then came the moment. The green light switched on. The rear ramp opened. One after another, paratroopers stepped into the open sky. Within moments, the horizon filled with parachutes as hundreds of soldiers descended toward the coastline. At the exact same time, the assault from the sea was launched. Amphibious vehicles powered through the waves, cutting across the water before slamming onto the shoreline. Tracks gripped the sand as they transitioned from sea to land. Hovercraft surged forward, rapidly unloading troops and equipment onto the beach. The Marines moved immediately, no hesitation. They advanced inland, clearing defensive positions and securing ground as they pushed forward. From two directions, the forces moved closer. Airborne units, landing across elevated terrain and inland zones, began advancing downhill toward the coast. Marine units, having secured the beaches, pushed forward and upward. Radio communications remained active between both sides. Distances closed quickly. The link-up point was near. And then, Contact. The two forces met. There was no time for celebration. Quick acknowledgements, rapid exchange of information, and immediate coordination followed. From that moment on, they moved as a single, unified force. The combined assault was overwhelming. Airborne troops focused on securing buildings, high ground, and strategic positions. Marine units brought in armored strength and heavy firepower, breaking through remaining defensive lines. Snipers provided overwatch. Machine gun teams established overlapping fields of fire, ensuring continuous suppression of enemy movement. Caught between two advancing fronts, resistance began to collapse. Positions fell one after another. Momentum shifted completely. The final objective remained a heavily defended command position overlooking the strait. Both forces prepared for the decisive strike. From inland, airborne troops advanced toward the objective. From the coastline, Marines pushed forward with armored support. The assault hit simultaneously. Gunfire erupted as the outer defenses were engaged. Vehicles provided suppressive fire while infantry units advanced into the structure. Inside, the fighting became close and intense, room by room, step by step. But the outcome was never in doubt. Within a short time, the position was secured. The last major defensive stronghold had fallen. With control established, the coastline was now fully in their hands. For a brief moment, troops paused, looking out over the waterway. The Strait of Hormuz, a critical global route, was no longer contested. Soon after, the first commercial tankers began moving through the area once again, a sign that the mission had succeeded. The operation had been executed with precision. Forces arriving from air and sea had linked up exactly as planned, combining their strength to complete the objective. Years of training had led to this moment, and under real combat conditions, they had delivered. But more than strategy and execution, this mission proved something else: the power of coordination, the effectiveness of unity. Two separate forces, operating as one. The strait was open. The objective was complete. Now, attention turned toward securing the area and preparing for future operations. Standing along the coastline, troops watched as ships continued their passage, a vital global lifeline restored. This operation marked a turning point, and for those who took part, it would remain a defining moment for the rest of their lives. The Strait of Hormuz was now nearly fully secured. Flow had resumed. The mission had achieved its goal, and the path ahead was clear.